So I'm super excited to bring you this video today. Anyone know what today is? Today is Q&A day. So some of you guys sent me in questions in the comments or in a message, and I'm super excited to answer these to the best of my ability for you guys. And just a little disclaimer, my advice, some things will work for certain people and some things won't. So do with my advice what you will. Alright, let me jump into my little list of questions. I'll just be reading them off of my phone anonymously. This one says, I saw you mention in another video that you've been to LA. Not sure if you lived there or visited, but have you auditioned actively in that area where it's so much more competitive, but also so many more opportunities? If so, do you have any advice for someone going to LA auditioning for the first time this summer? Alright, so yes, I've been to LA multiple times. It is my fave place to go ever. However, I've not really done auditioning there. I do know a ton of people that audition there, like literally half of the friends that I have live in LA for acting. Auditioning in LA is a whole lot more competitive, definitely, and everyone has a lot more experience than other markets. The level of skill and professionalism in the acting industry in LA versus other markets is a lot higher. And almost everyone that lives in LA that's an actor is SAG or SAG eligible, and if you don't know what that is, it's the Actors Union. All very professional work like Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, ABC Family, all of that stuff. Like the bigger movies and TV shows you see on TV are usually SAG-AFTRA. Definitely want to strive to become SAG-E. Become SAG-E by getting either 3 days of work as an extra on a SAG film where you keep your checks from it, the original checks, and you have to get a special slip from, I think usually you go to the assistant director to get it, a little SAG card thingy. Or you can become SAG eligible by having a larger role in a SAG film or SAG TV show. And if you're planning on going to the LA market, that's probably something you want to strive to do for sure. I know a couple people in LA that are non-union, but they don't get as much work. When you're non-union, you can do non-union work and SAG work, but a lot of my friends decide not to be SAG. They just wanted to be non-union or SAG eligible. It's about $3,000 to join SAG, plus the dues every year, which are probably around $250 depending on your area. For SAG, you can't do non-union work, but if you choose not to become SAG, you could be missing out on some opportunities. If you were offered more opportunities that were SAG, you have to join after a certain amount of jobs. Definitely check out their website if you're interested, but it's definitely something you need to look into, at least in my opinion, because I know people in LA that are non-union and they've turned down SAG jobs because they already had enough where they were SAG eligible, but they didn't want to become SAG, so they're kind of missing out on bigger opportunities. So I would say you're auditioning this summer in LA, so you go girl, good luck to you. Definitely just prepare, get great headshots, go look at headshots of professional actors on IMDb, go look at people's resumes, make sure your resume looks perfect, and make sure that you're trying to get all of the opportunities you can get before you're going. Make sure that you train with someone. Definitely train with some good film acting coaches. If what you're after is film or commercial acting or television acting, get a coach specific to what you're looking for. Don't just get any coach out there. Make sure that if they end up wanting you to self-tape anything, that you have a good camera with good microphone quality, a nice backdrop to put, usually white or sometimes blue or beige. And make sure you're just always prepared. Just be comfortable with yourself, be confident, be natural, and just kind of ignore the pressures that LA can sometimes put upon you, because I know that they are great. Why and how did you start acting? Okay, I started acting when I was about 9 years old, because actually I started acting sooner than that, but just like at home. I don't know if that really counts. I started acting because for whatever reason I was super inspired by The Game Plan, the movie The Game Plan, featuring The Rock and Madison Pettis. I loved Madison Pettis. I looked up to her more than almost anyone, and for whatever reason she inspired me more so than other celebrities that I really looked up to. And I think part of it was because she was my age and I felt like I could relate to her a bit more. And her performance in The Game Plan was just outstanding. Like, it had so much emotion to it, and it was just, I don't know, there's something about her performance that it just inspired me to be an actor, like, immediately. It was weird. It was like, I don't know how to explain it, but it was crazy. How I started becoming an actress. I started off by taking acting classes at a local theater. So that was how I got my start. Can someone audition without an agent or much experience? I've only done background acting. So yes, you can audition without an agent or much experience. Just make sure that you have your headshot and your resume. Just put your background acting on there for now until you have enough credits that you can kick those off of your resume. Just make sure that you go to your auditions prepared and the best you can. Make sure your headshot is professional and looks great, and your resume is good to go and it has your training and your stats and everything on it. Just look at some examples of other people's. You can audition. There's a lot of different places you can find auditions, like Backstage.com, Project Casting. Sometimes there's like film commission websites for your state. There's so many, I can't even think of it. There's Facebook groups that I go to sometimes. So just be aware of what auditions there are in your area, or if there's self-taped ones, and just be the best you can. Never get too attached to an audition, because if you don't get it, you're gonna be so upset, because trust me, I've been there. Yes, you can definitely audition without an agent. Make sure that you're just prepared and you're training to be ready for auditions, maybe an on-camera class. And sometimes when you go to classes, you can meet industry connections, people that know where to find good auditions. Do you have any tips where I can find monologues online? So typically my monologues, I either go to a bookstore, you can go to the library, you can get monologue books. There are tons of really good monologue books out there, and I highly suggest getting one, because then you have so many options. Look through some and see which ones suit you more, I guess. There are some places online to find monologues. You just look up different monologues for whatever it is you're looking for, whatever your age is. It can be a bit hard to find one that fits you like that, but you can also find some from plays, or I don't recommend doing any from movies for the most part, because then you know how they do it and you might get stuck into doing the monologue the way that you saw it done instead of doing it authentically from your point of view. Sometimes I like to write my own monologues to make sure that it looks very professional and that you can relate to it. Obviously, if you wrote it, it's going to be more important to you, and I think you're gonna do it so much better. Those are some places you can find monologues, and here on YouTube there are some as well. Do you have any worst audition stories? Yeah. I went to an audition one time, and it was for a pretty big film. Actually, it's going to be in theaters soon. I was auditioning for a pretty big role, and I got myself super nervous, and I was freaking out, and I got myself so nervous that even though I practiced the script so much and it was ingrained in my brain and I thought I would do incredible with it. I got so nervous. I got in there and I was like, oh my gosh. Needless to say, they started reading the lines off with me and I just blanked. And even though I had the script, it was like, I was just like, so unprofessional, and I've never done that since. I was just kind of still learning. You know, I don't do a ton of auditions in person, so I was kind of still getting used to it, I guess, and getting used to dealing with the nerves and, chub-chubs! Sorry, there's a bird feeder that I have suction cupped on my window, and there's this little chubby cardinal that comes back, and I call him Chub Chubs, and he just came. He's just sitting here watching me film. Stop looking at me, Chub Chubs. So anyways, it was a pretty bad audition story. I blanked out on the lines completely, and for the next million years, it seems like, I was just saying, oh, I did so bad, I hate myself, oh. And I got over it. And I was like, you know what, more auditions are gonna come my way, so it's gonna be okay. Who would you say is your inspiration? My inspiration in acting used to be definitely Madison Pettis. Now, I have a couple different inspirations in acting. I love Maya Mitchell. I love Jennifer Aniston, Lisa Kudrow, Julia Roberts, Rowan Blanchard, Shailene Woodley, Sierra Ramirez, Rachel McAdams, Sandra Bullock, Jennifer Love Hewitt, to name a few. I'd like to be an actress, but in America, but I'm from Montenegro. I'm sorry if my English is bad. Your English is actually very good. I'm 15 and I hope that it's not so late. 15 is not too late to start acting, regardless of what a lot of people will tell you. It is a lot better if you get started way earlier, but it's not too late. I'm going to start acting classes, but there's not any in my city. Okay, so for that, definitely check online, because there are some acting classes that are online, like video chat, and they're out of Los Angeles and New York City or Chicago, and they're out of those places, so you can be in Montenegro and take the online classes that are based in LA or New York or Chicago, and you'll get good training from reputable people. Definitely check out some online classes, and you should find some good stuff. I wrote 2 scripts in English, and I honestly think that they're great because I worked really so hard on them. Aww. I would like to send them to LA or New York agents, but I'm afraid they won't accept me because I'm too far away. Okay, so I hate to, I always want to tell you guys what you want to hear, because I want to hear what I want to hear whenever someone's giving me advice on anything. But if you live in Montenegro, there are some exceptions, but almost never is someone going to sign you when you live there, unless you can travel there very, very, very often, like every couple weeks, or if you could live there for an extended period of time. So maybe when you're older, you can go and live there for an extended period of time and see if an agent would accept you. Go ahead and send in your scripts, as long as they don't say no unsolicited submissions. And you don't have anything to lose from sending in your scripts. Make sure that you get your scripts patented so no one can steal your scripts. I want to be an actor, but my dad doesn't have much interest for me to be one. He knows it's my passion, but he says it's too much of a struggle. Any advice for how to convince him? Okay, yeah, I'm in the same boat. My dad doesn't like that I'm an actress. I don't really know how old you are, so I can't just say, just forget it, you do you. I mean, I'm going to be 19 soon, and my dad doesn't want me to be an actress or anything like that at all. I think if you're trying to convince your dad, you have to tell him, like, this means so much to me, this means as much to me as this means to you. Just give him a list of reasons why you would like to be an actor. I mean, write a list of all the incredible things that being an actor can do for you. I mean, it can thicken your skin. It gives you all these life skills. It gives you good business and professional skills, how to communicate well with others and work well with others. And it gives you perseverance and confidence and all of these incredible things that you're going to need for other things in your life. If it makes you happy, I don't see why he wouldn't want you to do it. If like maybe tell him some ways you could earn money so you could take acting classes. And I know acting is a struggle. Everyone knows it's a struggle. But you have to learn how to deal with stuff like that and how to push through and, just do other activities as well, and make sure you have other things that you're doing, not just acting, so you're showing him you're not just doing this one thing, because parents don't seem to like that. I live in Chicago and I don't know what company to audition for. I've been trying to find a real agent for 2.5 years. I wanted to be an actress since I was 5 years old. I'm 14 now. Any tips? Okay, good start. You live in Chicago, which is a nice market. So first of all, before you go submitting to agencies, I know I say this all the time, but it's so true. Have a great headshot, have a great resume, and just make sure that you're comfortable with your skill level and you're being honest with yourself about what your skill level is at the time, and just make sure you're getting good training. There's good training and good agents in Chicago. I mean, I can't recommend a single agency to you. I'm not sure which would fit you best, and these are just a couple of recommendations, but I know Stewart Talent is incredible, very reputable, but don't be upset if you don't have a lot of experience and they don't accept you, because they are super, super picky. A lot of people in Chicago are really picky, so definitely look them up and see and look at reviews on them, but there's a lot of them. Love to act. I'm going to my first TV audition soon. Ooh, but I'm used to theater. Are they really different, or will I be over the top? Theater and film are a bit different for sure. Just make sure you know how to work with the camera well. If you're reading with a person, you never look directly into the camera. Don't try to be over the top with like facial expressions and all this jazz. Keep it simple. You want to make different choices in your scripts, of course, and make it interesting and have different levels to it, but you want to keep it natural. It's like you're sitting there talking to a friend. You don't want to make it all crazy and artificial. You could try getting a lesson with a film acting coach, and that should help you prepare for it. Find a good agency. Well, you find a good agency by word of mouth if you have friends or anyone that you've worked with that has a good agency, but mainly you guys just have to do so much research. Make sure that they don't charge you. If they try to charge you, get out of there quick. Do a lot of research. Backstage has some good resources. How did you get started? I started off with theater acting classes, and then I moved on and I did a couple of private lessons, and then I went to a showcase and I got an agent from there, and then I got another agent from there, and then I started taking a lot of film classes and really going into training way more, doing it multiple times a week now. Doing film training and commercial training and on-camera training and Meisner and everything. You have to do a lot of research to find your agent. So make sure you're doing your research. The work doesn't work for you. You gotta work for the work. How to become less shy. I'm going to touch on this briefly because I used to be very shy. One thing that helped with me being shy was just getting more experience. I know it sounds like, okay. Just getting more experience, the more comfortable you will become. Getting more experience and exposing yourself to things that freak you out and doing it so much that you start to get comfortable with it. That's honestly the only way that I feel like I got to be okay with it, and just not caring what people think. You're great the way you are. I just kept doing classes and I felt super uncomfortable, but after constantly exposing myself, I got less shy. And you have to just block everyone out. I know it's hard, but try to look at some audition books, There's some great audition books that will give you tips that will be like how to help with your mindset and everything. And I know I said I was gonna link the one from last week, but I completely lost it. I don't know if I left it somewhere. Does it cost a lot of money for headshots? Yeah, it does cost a lot of money for headshots typically, but there are rare cases where you can find people that are great, that are like just starting out, but they do great headshots, and they'll do it a lot cheaper. So definitely look out for like student photographers and things like that. You just, again, it goes back to research. Just look around for good, cheap photographers. Look at their work, be familiar with their work. Or you can buy your own camera and do your own headshots if it's a good enough camera. Like mine does really good photos, and my mom will do my headshots now because they look just as good as when other people did them. Finding a good deal on a camera with a great lens, and classes definitely can be very pricey. I wish I could tell you they weren't, but if you can't afford them right now, get a job in the future and just look and read all of the things you can about acting and practice on your own by videotaping yourself and seeing what you need to improve. Sometimes there's free training from Amy Jo Berman and things like that. So definitely just keep at it until you can afford real training. How to deal with people on set that think they are so important, but they put everyone except for their fake friends aside. I'm an actor, and right now in a play called Once on the Island, and I go backstage and they are just annoying. I need tips. Okay, wow. Well, there are always going to be actors you don't like. People backstage are being rude. You find different friends to hang around with backstage. You're not there to make friends exactly. You're there to do your job. Just ignore them. You're always going to have someone that acts like that. So ignore them, but if they walk by you, you just be nice and be the bigger person. Or, if you're feeling a little feisty, you can, confront them in a nice, calm manner about why they would do something like that to you. Don't go cray-cray. Don't go cray-cray. Those people aren't worth your time or your worrying. So you're there for you. You're there to have fun. So just be there for you and don't worry about it. How does it feel to be an extra? What do you have to do exactly when you get the extra job? And is there an audition involved, or do you just get the part? So when you're an extra, you kind of feel a little bit pushed to the side, which you're not a main actor, so as I said in a previous video, I wasn't allowed to look at the real actors. We weren't allowed to talk to them. We couldn't even don't look at them, don't even think about them. For the most part, I really enjoy being an extra. Some sets are definitely more fun than others. It's a lot of waiting around, so it can be a bit boring until you're actually on set, and it gets a bit monotonous when you are on set because they do the takes a million times. So you booked the job. They will send you instructions, usually of how to come to set and everything. If they don't, definitely write to them just to clarify things. Should you have your makeup done, your hair done? What should you bring with you to set? If you're an extra, they'll just tell you what you have to do. It depends on what the movie is. Usually it's just walking back and forth, but not all of them like that. But it's cool to just see the set and be around the process. Usually you'll have to sign out when you are finished for the day and put your information so they can pay you properly if it's a paid job and they know how long you worked. Usually there is not an audition involved. Usually you will send in an email when they're asking for extras, and you will get a response back if they're interested. If they're not, then they aren't going to write back to you, and you should not write to them again. You usually don't have to audition, except there was one recently around me where you actually did have to audition, but usually if they want you, they'll email you back after you send in your headshot and resume and what days you're available, and they'll let you know if they're interested, and then they'll give you the directions and you'll go to set and you'll have a fun time. What are your favorite TV shows? If I'm just going with top 3 favorite TV shows, my favorites are The Fosters, Dance Moms, and Friends for sure. If you weren't an actress or nutritionist, what would you be doing? Ooh, I would be either an interior designer, a chef, an architect, a casting director, an acting coach, a lawyer, a traveling journalist. What do you like to do when you're not acting? I like to cook, I like to paint, I like to draw, I like to hike, I like to travel, I like to binge on Netflix, I like to dance, I like to write. A lot of things I like to do. Why would your agent not be getting you enough auditions? Your agent could not be getting you enough auditions for a few reasons. Maybe there's not a lot of work for your age and your type right now. Maybe they just kind of let you slip through the cracks and you kind of let yourself. Do different things, but just make sure that your agency, your website for your agent, your stats and your photos are always kept up to date. Make sure your resume is up to date. Your agent's not getting you in auditions, maybe just keep up with them more. Keeping up with the agents.
Keeping Up with the Agents, a new series on Lifetime.
Schedule a meeting with your agent and, just catch up with them, let them know what your career goals are, things like that. Thank you guys for watching. I hope I answered most of your questions. Leave any video requests down below and I hope to get to them soon. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.